Awesome. Welcome everyone to, we don't know. No, I'm just kidding. This is a call for all CFMWs. And if you don't know what a CFM, does anyone know what a CMF, oh my goodness,
Can you say it?
CFMW is? You want to guess? Julie raises her hand. What do you think it is, Julie? So
A
I'm gonna
certifiable fucking miracle worker.
fuck yeah. So if you have a problem with the word fuck, then this, might be a surprise to you with this new honorary title you have been given now that you've taken a choice of possibilities or choice for possibilities class. So a lot of you might be new to this group of weirdos and miracle workers. Some of you might have been doing it for a long time. We invited everyone. And actually, how the title came about was back in the day when Access pretty much it didn't have as many classes as it has now, but it had bars, foundation, and then the choice for possibilities. And people ask Gary Douglas, after taking all of these core classes, like, do we get anything, after, since we have done all of this work or whatever you want to call it? And he said, actually, after you've done these classes, you are a certifiable fucking miracle worker. So if you didn't know, you can actually buy a, what is it called? Like a certificate in the shop, in the Access shop. And some people hang it like in their office. No one ever looks. It just says CFMW. No one really ever looks to see what it says. You can put it next to your name. If you're not a doctor yet, or you don't have any fancy credentials to put next to your name, or maybe you have a bunch of credentials and you want to add more, you can put CFMW next to your name. So if you haven't figured out by now, Access is irreverent and we take things very seriously all at the same time. So,
and if someone asks you what it is and you feel like you can't say in this context, certifiable fucking miracle worker, you could just make something up. I'm a certified facilitator of magic and wonder, like whatever you want it to be.
Leslie is wonderfully showing us her certificate. If you can find her on the screen.
I have it in the room that I do sessions with.
Do you ever get asked what it is?
I haven't yet.
Ah.
People just take it as a credential. It's with all my other credentials from all the other stuff that I've done over the years.
I wonder if you can even like flash it when you go somewhere and like, hey, I need to get through here because I'm a CFMW.
I could put it on a little card in my wallet and get it laminated.
Exactly. So that's what you are. That's what you're here for. And today we just wanted to get together. We do this on a very predictable schedule. Not at all. We follow the energy and see when it is fun to meet up. Typically kind of every like 4 times a year, depending on what's going on and how everything's going. And if you'd like more of these, we could consider that as well, as there's more CFMWs in the world. I don't even know how many CFMWs there are in the world. Maybe like, I don't know, over 10,000 at this point, right? I would think so. Maybe Pam knows. I'm putting her on the spot.
Wait, I was multitasking. What?
Oh, do you know how many CFMWs are in the world? Probably like 10 to 15,000 now at this point.
At least.
Yeah. So
I can steal a glance at Kat's, thing she put together because it says something about how many people have taken CFP.
Yeah, cool. So my name's Megan, and I work with all sorts of different things with Access and the Access business. I've been doing Access, not doing Access. I've been living and using the tools of Access for like a billion years now. And Pam is here. She, like I said, she works with all the facilitators. So some of you might be bars facilitators. Some of you might be certified facilitators, depending where you're at. She is an amazing resource. And so she knows basically everything. And we call her the Paminator because she is awesome. So we can go anywhere. Today we have things that we can go over. If some of you are new and you're wondering what why does it matter if I'm a CFMW? What can I do? But is there anything that you guys, any questions that you guys have about access that you want to ask? Or is there anything that you'd like to get out of today that we can contribute to you? And I see some questions popping in the chat. You guys are welcome to do that as well.
So one thing is, you know, like, not to go into all the details yet, but as a CFMW, you can facilitate intro classes, and there are some guidelines to that, some things you don't do, some things that work well, and we can go into that more. But someone's asking, you know, how can I get that credential CFMW by my profile on the Access Consciousness website? So if you have a public profile, you can, and I think probably even, well, if you're a facilitator, even if you don't have a public profile, you can get signed up on our website to show as a CFMW. So it's actually quite easy, and you can write into customer service at accessconsciousness.com to find out how to be listed as a CFMW on the website.
So customer service is customerservice@accessconsciousness.com. They're amazing. They will respond to you. And Louise just said she sent an email and they did it for her. That's so awesome. How does it get any easier than that? Cool.
Question.
Yes.
Do these intros have to be approved by Access?
No. So
Like, you know, are there any specifications like?
yeah, so I'll do that now. Yeah, I'll do that now. So
Perfect.
basically, you guys can do intros on any topic, except there's some topics that you can't do. So first of all, an intro is an introduction to Access and an introduction to basic tools. So you wouldn't take the latest thing that you got from a 6-day advanced class and do an intro about it. That's not an appropriate intro topic, right? Or sometimes people say, well, can I do an intro about, you know, the numbers, about, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and stuff. The idea that you can fling your hands and change the world is maybe not an intro topic. You might want to start with, you know, some things about, you know, your points of view and who does this belong to, and heavy and light. So part of it is just go with what you know, and what works for an intro.
And really quickly, Pam,
Yeah.
if you were wondering if somebody can hear that, just imagine you before your first bars class. You know, now you've taken through choice of possibilities and there's things that have just like blown your world. Would you have been able to have everything that you received in choice of possibilities before you took Access Bars and Foundation? Or would you be like, you guys are fucking nuts? So just be really aware, because it's actually, it's not that we don't want you to share all the information. It's actually not kind to the person who hasn't had the energetic journey that you've had. So you might be really, really excited about the coolest, weirdest stuff that you had in a recent class, but to share that to somebody in an intro that hasn't had all of that is not kind to you or to them. So
Yep. So there's a few topics that even if you're a certified facilitator, and that's the license level that's had like the most training, that you can't just do, that you have to ask for permission. And these topics, you have to actually be a certified facilitator. And sometimes people get confused because there's CFMW, which has 4 letters, and certified facilitator is just CF, but CFs do more. They've had more training. So sex, abuse, gaslighting, 9 trannies, and beauty are topics that you would never do intros on. And even certified facilitators have to get permission to do those topics. And then none of us do classes on the Golden Planet or demons. Okay, so that's kind of the guidelines. And an intro is a one-time thing, right? It's like, you know, it could be anywhere from an hour up to 4 hours. These days, people get fried really quickly. I would be very surprised if you do an intro that's 4 hours long. It's much better to give them just some and, you know, and know when it's time to be done. I don't know if you want to add to that, Megan.
Yeah. I think people, you know, you guys get very excited, as do all of us, like when you get a bright new shiny thing that you want to just give all of the information. But part of being facilitating these classes, the tagline of Access Consciousness is not empowering people to know what you know, like that you know stuff as the facilitator, but it's about empowering them to know that they know. So it's driven by you asking them questions that can actually allow them to tap into the awareness that they have about something. And so you can do something really simple, you know, like questions to change your life could be an intro, and you could talk about what else is possible and give an example of, hey, if you are in a car accident or you're running late for the airport and things are not going your way, just asking what else is possible and talking about how questions actually open the doors to possibilities where answers shut them down. That is something that nobody else on the planet is talking about. So you don't have to do a good intro, give them a ton of information. You can actually give them a lot of space and give them a lot of questions. And that is actually far greater than the amount of new cool stuff that you can give from the most advanced manual. So we can go through some examples of like classes. If you're like, I don't know, it's like so much, we can do that. We can break that down for you as we continue going. But I would say like less is always more, especially when it comes to the amount of information that you're giving. You can just really be present with some people, and if they have a question for you, ask them a question back and see what they can get to within their world of awareness about them.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first 2 access tools I was introduced to was Who Does This Belong To and the Clearing Statement. And those 2 tools within 2 weeks changed my life. Like I didn't need 50 gazillion things, just that. And going home and playing with it and adding to it. So, so just to kind of finish on what the intros are. So the intros, they can be in person or they can be online. It can't be a combination. So everybody's either in the room with you or everybody is on Zoom and, or, you know, whatever similar platform like Zoom. And, you get to pick what price you charge for your intro. But it's, as a CFMW, it's these intros that you can facilitate. You have to become a bars facilitator to facilitate access bars. You have to be a certified facilitator to do multi-day or multi-session events like, you know, teleseries and book series and that kind of thing. We do have some intros that we made for you guys and for facilitators. And those are intros that have like,
actually, I have the name of them.
Yep. And I'm going to ask Betsy. Betsy, am I correct that CFMWs can do all those intros before I say this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So we have, I don't know it all. Betsy helps me. So,
well, I just realized I think I have the ones that are based on books. So maybe Betsy, you can read them.
I'll go find them.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
We'll remember all.
Yeah.
Basically, we have a lot of cool things that you can use so that you don't have to come up with all of it on your own. And there's graphics that we've created for you. Some of them have little manuals that you can follow and give out. There's so much of it. And surprisingly, very few people ever use them.
Yeah. So you can just do your own intro, your own topic, come up with it, or you can say, well, I'd like to use one of these that's based on a book and there's a little handout for it, or you can just read a book and pull so a couple of tools, some quotes, some examples from that book and facilitate an intro based on that. So you can give the manuals that we give you, but you can't create your own manuals or create your own handouts. Okay.
Yeah. And also with all of this, you know, if you start doing intros or you already know like, oh man, I so would like to be a CF and be able to do whatever I want besides the things that they can't do. there are people who have basically created their entire cost for them to become a certified facilitator by growing their business with these different types of intros that they can do as a CFMW. So we have a whole group of things called Road to CF, where, you know, people who have gone on the road to becoming a CF that are there to support you and inspire you. So if that's something that you're like, oh man, this excites me, we will give information on that too, so that you can check that out. There's someone asking in the chat, can we do our own blend class, like art or fitness? That is sort of a muddy question, because we really don't desire you to blend modalities. However, if it's like an art class and you want to, and you're doing the art class and you want to say, hey, there's a few questions I got from this thing called Access Consciousness, like with this piece of art that you're working on, what are the infinite possibilities for what this could be? You could do that, but it's not necessarily like an intro on access and blending things. So art and fitness is weird because it's not really a modality, but blending something like Reiki and access, not cool. Basically like keep access as access, because access is awesome and other things are awesome. And it's really great to not confuse people with having combined muddy waters, so that people don't know the difference of where things are coming from. Tanya saying,
and my best example of that, Megan, is someone who was so upset when they went to a bars class because their bars practitioner used stones and had sage and chanted and, you know, essential oils and did all these things with the bars. And so the person thought that's what the bars were. So what we're after with the not mixing the modalities is for people to be clear on what they're receiving, how they can have more of it, and not to think that access has all this other stuff, or that the other things automatically have access.
Yeah. And Tanya's, thank you for your clarification. What I would say is, you know, if you're already doing fitness classes or art classes and you'd like to say, hey, I found these really cool tools from Access Consciousness with questions, then you can do that. But I wouldn't call it an Access Consciousness intro with fitness, because that's just a little, you know, different. But if even right now you're like, yeah, but that's not what I mean, email customer service and tell them what your plan is, like actually create the plan, and then they can look at it and help you tweak it, or at least say, hey, yay or nay. Access isn't about telling you like all the things that you cannot do. We're just really hoping to set you up so that you're a success and that it's as wonderful as possible. So cool, thank you. And Betsy put the Road to CF group in the chat. There's also a CFMW Facebook group, if you didn't know that, where all the CFMWs tend to go if they like Facebook. And you can join that. We can put the link in here as well. And I think it's in your CFP manual, but I am not sure anymore. Because Pam has me look at manuals and I now forget what's in them, and it's
they all blend together.
I'm like, I don't know what's in that one anymore.
And while you're talking about the Facebook group, there's also the online resource center for CFMWs. So it's on a Kajabi based site. It's free to join. It's a place you can go, you know, set up an account and go in and see different resources that we do have for CFMWs. So the combination of the Facebook group and the online resource site will get you access. And that's where we announce, oh, we're doing these calls as well. So
cool. Fernanda's asking if there's a Telegram group. Currently, there is not. Working with Access, we have now Facebook groups, Telegram chats, WhatsApp threads. Like we have Skype, we have things everywhere. And so if Facebook is starting to really die, we will look at changing it. But right now, opening Telegram as well for CFMWs, it will just, there's just a lot to go into it. We are looking at better ways of not having so many places, but there's Telegram groups for all sorts of other access stuff, just saying, or the Access Online group, or anyway, just because you've asked now, I of course will look into it because so.
And so, and just the, oh, Justina is asking, do I require Facebook? So no, Facebook would be a place where what you can get to some of the resources and where you could ask questions and interact with other people who are also CFMWs. But also, I would join the online resource site, because that's where you can find like guidelines for what a CFMW can do and for the book stuff and all that.
Yep. And if you ever have questions, or you basically have questions, or you desire to engage, send us an email, reach out to us, because we can help connect you with people, or also look at creating something different. Julie said, did everybody's chat just go blank or just mine? I think that's just yours. I read it as, did everyone's mind go blank, or was that just yours? And I thought everyone's minds did go blank, but maybe that was just mine. Okay, so we have a question on books. So as a CFMW, you also can do intros on books. And so Dr. Arish Mufti, I like that name, is saying that, and my understanding is that in addition to read 30% of the book, I can make an exploration and invite people to know some of its content. So here's the deal. You cannot do more than 30% of the book, 30% or less of the book. And there are lots of different books that we have, again, like different intros or manuals for. For example, Susanna Mittermeier has one on pragmatic psychology, and there's an intro called How Different Are You Willing to Be? These are the ones I wrote down. There is an intro called How Much Money Are You Willing to Receive? And that's with the Money Isn't the Problem, You Are book. There is Create More Time, More Money, more something else, and I can't remember what that's.
Joy. That's the Joy Business.
Awesome. And Stepping into Being, which is with Dr. Dane Heer's book, Being You, Changing the World. So how cool.
And there's the new one.
Oh.
So Are You a Fish, which is based on the Would You Teach a Fish to Climb a Tree by Anne Maxwell and Gary and Dane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So these are really cool, because not only can you do intros, have a book, go through the book, you get a, like a manual to go with it. There's material that you can use, graphics and things if you'd like to promote it. And these topics are huge. With pragmatic psychology, there's so much going on in the world right now with mental health. Such a brilliant, different perspective on what's possible there. Does anyone have any money problems going on in the world? Anyone freaking out about money stuff? There's the books you can do. And we ask that you charge a minimum of $35. The other way that you can also create money and create revenue with these is if you would like to buy the books at wholesale cost, which I'm going to mess up the percentages, so I'm not going to say them. But there's a way you can buy like 10 or more books at, I think, 50% off. And then you can sell the books to your class participants and get the revenue from what they would have purchased online if they bought one book. So there was one time I did a money intro, and I think I used not the How to Become Money workbook, but the Money Isn't the Problem, You Are. And I had like 20 people, but I ended up creating a lot of money because I was selling the book plus the class, which I think ended up being like, I think the class was like $35, and then the book revenue was like another, I don't know, 20 or 30. So I made like $65 per person, which I thought was really cool.
And Megan, since you mentioned it, How to Become Money workbook, that is one that you guys can't do a book intro based on. You have to be a CF to do that How to Become Money workbook, but you can do a money, a money intro just, from what you know and the tools or one based on the Money Isn't the Problem, You Are. You could do an intro based on Right Riches for You. So
fun.
Can I ask a question? Oh, there's hands up. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, let's take Louise's question.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, my question is actually about so I'm going to take my first CF training this September.
Yay,
and
congratulations.
Sorry?
I said, yay, congratulations.
Thank you. And my question is, when I started doing like teleseries and stuff like that, Can I invite CFMWs to be a part of it, or do they have to be other CFs?
So when you're a CF and you start creating your own classes, what you do is you would write in to us and say, hey, this is the class I'm looking to create, and I'd like to co-facilitate with a CFMW. There's going to be many things that they can co-facilitate with you, and there's going to be some things that they can't. And so it's better to just ask when it comes up.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mirna?
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
I have marketing questions. What is the best way to advertise? How long before the class should I advertise, or how long and how often should I put my advertisement on social media? Like I said, what is the best way to advertise? Does Access Consciousness provide actual marketing pieces that we can use to advertise the classes? Because I went online and I got all the classes and the materials and stuff. I tried to advertise a few, but I never got really good results. And frankly, paying to have the marketing materials created for me gets a little bit pricey if nobody's going to show up. If people show up, then it's not a problem. But and the same thing with the bars class. For a year, I advertised it. I set up the classes. I even bought the chairs. I got everything done. But I'm having a difficult time bringing the students into the class.
Okay. How many people a day do you talk to?
Oh, that's a good question. Online, a lot, but personally, going out there and talk to people, I have been going through a situation where I've been really sick. And so I've been in the process of healing my body while I'm trying to do this at the same time.
Cool. So one of the things that Access has spread the way that it spreads by word of mouth. That's one of the main ways that it spreads. It also spreads by magic. I've heard of people being at a garage sale and a book falls from somewhere and hits them on the head, and it happens to be the Being You book, or the Money Isn't the Problem You Are book, or some crazy book. So one thing that I have noticed, I was in marketing. I still do a lot of quote marketing stuff with Access, but everything that I learned about marketing was basically flipped and spun on its head by Gary and what's possible. So one of the things that he talks about a lot is about being interested, not interesting. So there are some beautiful conversations that he has where you can buy classes on this, and we can put them in the chat. There's one about being charming that was one of the most phenomenal things I've ever heard of. There is also Right Voice for You classes with Chris Hughes. He is phenomenal as well about actually like, okay, cool, great. So Gary has said, and I have practiced this, and it actually is strangely true, is that if you are willing to at least call on the phone or reach out to, say, 10 people a day, not like your mom or your kid, like your normal circle, but like 10 people that you wouldn't necessarily talk to, it'll actually contribute an energy to you in your business that's actually very different. And those numbers start getting reflected in who's showing up to your classes. So people who are engaging with like 20 people a day through phone calls, through saying hi to somebody at a store, you know what I mean? Like actually engaging with people, not just online, because online is just, you know, what it is. People have like 20, he was saying, I think if there's 20 people that you're engaging with, you'll have about 10 people in your class. So I would suggest looking at who can I actually call. You know, Gary talked about when he first started, he just started calling people and said, hey, you know, talking to them about them. And then if they ask him a question, hey, I have this new thing going on, check it out. See what works for you. I notice the more that I like actually, if I have a wall up and I can do introvert very well, like can please no one talk to me. I don't want to see another person. I will get Uber Eats and have everything delivered and just stay away from me. If I have that in the world, no one calls, no one reaches out, everything goes silent. but I'm asking for that to be created, and that's what shows up. If I just start asking a question like, okay, universe, I get that I'm not really engaging with people and I'd really like something different. Please show me what else is possible. And other things will start opening up. You know, it's like a random example. I was looking for, I didn't know how I was gonna, got a new dog. I've never had a dog before. I didn't know how I was gonna like have somebody watch it. And I was looking online. I couldn't find anyone that was not really weird or whatever. And I just went on a walk with her one day, and 3 people stopped me when I was walking and said, hey, I do dog training. Here's my card. Hey, I am a dog watcher. Hey, here's my card. And I was like, oh my God, it can actually be this easy. So what would it take for you to allow yourself to allow the universe to contribute to you and what's actually possible with everything that you're creating? Everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, pelvids, and beyonds. And ask the class to show you, okay, what is it that you require from me? And be willing to connect with people. It might mean that you just go to like one, call a business in your area that maybe, I have no idea, what kind of classes do you like to do? Bars or?
Well, I started with bars. That was the first class. And, after I had my bars run, I just wanted to do that. So I did that very quickly. And ever since then, that was in 2021, I've been trying to do the classes. But so far, I've had 2 people in classes. And
Cool.
I do make phone calls. I text. I try to communicate with a whole bunch of people, but the response hasn't been very good. And let me just say that I'm transitioning from one career into another career, so it's been a little bit challenging for me. Plus all the stuff that my body's been processing, but I don't have a problem calling people and talking to them.
Cool. So one other thing that you can do, again, this is a groundbreaking new tool, and it's called How Does It Get Any Better Than This? So after every class that you post or everything that you put out, notice if you're like, oh man, no one's calling, nothing's happening. If you start finding yourself going into judgment of you, of the class, of the people not choosing it, stop. Everything that is, I destroy and uncreate it all, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. And truly, how does it get any better than this?
Okay.
There was a class that Gary was doing, and I think there was like 11 people signed up, and I'm like, it's Gary Douglas. Like, how could only 11 people be signed up for Gary Douglas? And so I texted him, hey, is there anything you're aware of that we could be doing? And he goes, how does it get any better than this? And he said, but you're asking, how does it get any worse than this? And I'm like, damn it, you're right. So ask, how does it get any better?
Okay.
Universe, show me what's possible. And don't judge you, and don't judge the class, and don't judge you, and don't judge you, and don't judge you.
Thank you.
Cool. And what do you know about it that you are denying that you know? Everyone out there is talking about this is the way to market and this is the way to do it. Access consciousness, if you haven't figured out by now, is the weirdest, wackiest stuff on the planet. Ask for the miracles and the magic. Oh, the magic book. Magic, you are it, be it. Read that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And let us know how it goes and contribute. Yeah. Okay, I need to slow down for the translators. I apologize. Sorry. I get excited.
Hey, Megan.
Yes.
I'm translating. So just leave me a bit space after my question, please.
Okay.
Something interesting about engaging with people, like I have super ease engaging in person, like when do shopping and so on. But like with calling people, nowadays, a lot of people don't pick up, they're busy, rarely return the phone calls. So the phone thing has been interesting. I'm just like wondering what awareness can you add? Give me just place to summarize. Thanks.
Okay. Do, 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 do. Can I talk now? I am going to suggest maybe we have a call in the future and we have Arthur. And now I can't remember his last name.
Arthur Wood?
Wood, yes. He is a new addition to the Access call team. He did a call with Access staff, and he's done a few calls that you can actually buy, but maybe we could do one for all of you guys. He has a totally different point of view on making phone calls. He will literally call you like 1,000 times, and he doesn't take it personally if you don't answer. And he will say weird stuff on voice recordings to get you to answer or call back. He's hilarious. It takes the intimidation or wrongness or whatever out of calling, and it makes it really fun. So I'm not going to try and do what he does here because you guys need to hear him because he's hilarious. So,
and just to add to what you were saying about calls, it's not that you're calling people trying to get them to come to your class. You're calling people to be interested in them, interested in their life, what's happening with them. They may or may not ask you a question. Gary said one person took 20 years for them to ask him about, what do you do? Tell me more about this stuff. You know, but when they do, you can just be like, hey, I do this and this. Do you know anyone who'd be interested in it? So that they're not feeling like you're hounding them to get them to come, because it's not linear. The more you engage, like you're engaging over here and people show up over there. Like it is magic.
yeah. Arthur will do things like call someone and start off with, how do you like your steak? You know, he just has the funniest questions. So everywhere you're trying to make Access calls or anything about Access really professional and linear, and this reality, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys, pelvids, and beyonds. I don't know about you guys, but I love the thing that I fell in love with and why I kept choosing Access classes is because it was so different and so irreverent and so unlike anything else out there. So I think it's funny when we try and like, oh, it's my business, I shall be professional, you know, rather than like, I am super weird and, you know, do you want to come play? You know? So cool. Miss Julie.
Thanks. And I'm just going to add a little piece to contribute to that. Thank you, Pam, for what you said. But it's so true that it's not linear because anyway, at one point, I remember after COVID, I just started like cold calling businesses, you know, like spas, yoga studios and stuff. And nobody was like interested in what I was doing. But I also had way more bodies in my next bars class that had nothing to do with the calls I made. So again, it's not linear and it works. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I know you mentioned pricing, which made me think of this question, and you probably answered it, but with the last price increase, they are keeping the intro classes at 35 minimum. Is that correct?
That probably went up 25%, but it's a suggested minimum.
Okay, well, I've been kind of wondering about that, so I don't know if you guys have a definite answer or if that hasn't changed yet, or 35's okay, or
it would be on the guidelines.
I would say, well, yeah, you can check the guidelines.
Well, I know it takes you guys a while to update those.
Well, I would say for these intros for CFMWs, it probably didn't fall under any specific update because it's just recommended. Yeah. And the reason that it's recommended is that it's not something that you just give away for free. Because how many of you, if someone gives you something for free, do you actually use it?
Right.
So it's more of the energy of it, not to have a correct price. So if you want to charge 35, charge 35. If you want to charge 50, 75, whatever, just don't charge less than 35 for an intro.
Thanks.
And you can do a free intro too, but you can't actually charge. I think the book ones are where we're charging the 35 minimum. If you'd like to do a free intro, that's okay too.
And thank you for that. That's good to know because I was really avoiding the whole free thing from what Gary has said for so many years. But then I finally got like a programming partnership approved through my public library system here in Vegas. And again, they'll like participate in the events and open them to the public and kind of that if I don't charge for the class. So I asked a lot of questions around that, and I got like a yes to go forward with that. But I'm glad you said what you just did, because again, I was really avoiding the whole free thing because I get the value piece of it as well. So thanks.
What if you know, what
Yeah.
if, and know when you're being taken advantage of or taking advantage of yourself or not valuing you and valuing what you have on offer. And ask, will it create more, like, what will it create?
Yeah, because I definitely got that it would create greater possibilities doing it. So
cool.
yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Miss Christine.
Hi guys, how's everybody everywhere else in the world? We're getting a little bit of rain out here in Montreal, but we have a bars exchange tonight, so everything will be good. I wanted to share that that's one of the things that works really well for us is organizing swaps, because people will have come from other facilitators who have done their bars class, and depending on how that facilitator taught, they don't really know you can do anything else after. We've had a lot of people, or they'll come in and do a bars exchange and say, I've never heard these questions, or I didn't know you could. So just doing the exchange gets you some of that, I guess, credibility, I'll put it in quotes. And it's really nonlinear. Like last weekend for the 10th, it was 2 Sundays ago, we did the thing on the water, and we did a little video to invite people. And from my house, it was a 2-hour drive up on these dirt roads to get up to this chalet. That was amazing. We had hummingbirds doing bars with us. It was cool. And the 2 people who came as the other guests had never, like, had, one of them is a CF and didn't come to any trades, didn't do any, all of a sudden showed up at this exchange on the side of the water. So it's, and now signed up for the person who organized it. She's doing an energy pull, and now she got like 5 people because she did this free, contribution based event. So it's definitely nonlinear, and the more you go out. And the other thing is the access groups. Like Facebook works for me, but I'm old, so I use Facebook. Instagram is like complicated on my phone, so that doesn't sound good. But I like Facebook. It's my comfort zone, so I'll move out of it at some point. But the Access Consciousness Montreal that we have, and then we have like all over Quebec and all of these things. Mostly we get posts from people doing events. So if you come in and say, who's interested in this or who's looking in that, and we were odd tonight. So I just posted one spot, and a person I've never heard of before is coming to do a bars exchange tonight. So that leads to people who want to take classes with you or get their certification, or they need another bars facilitator. So I find that really helps. And then the other thing that's really kind of a weird thing, because I don't really like structure, but if you plan out, I'm doing a bars class this month and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and you write your agenda first for you, put it in your calendar, block off some time and start talking about it before you even set up booking it on this website, that also creates something. So actually moving and being in action that people can see you are, they hold you accountable. And a bars class, what is it? It's like $25 to list it on the site. That's a marketing in and of itself. Say, okay, where's the one I'm putting in? If I get students, I do. And if not, I'll have been on the Access website. People will have seen me. And that's my marketing fee or an expense. So if you don't think of it as it's a cost, because here that's really big. Oh, it's 25 US. And I'm like, yeah, what is that? Like 4 million Canadian? It's okay. It's just money. But we have a big exchange. But $25 to list the bars and get your face up there. And when people are searching, you're coming up. Right now with the global bars and all of that, this is like your best time to schedule classes, because there's so much marketing done by Access for Global Bars Day coming up. So list yourself, do gifting and exchanging on the website, put your name out there so that you have energy around it. And then do your intros that you're allowed to do and all of that fun stuff, and create your own things. But all the free stuff that I've been on a bunch of these calls in the last, couple of weeks, but there's lots of free tools that we can use with the Access site, and a lot of things you can promote that will get you visibility outside of just promoting an intro class or adding the CFMW at the end of your name. You can still be present. And Yeah, Pam, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, what I love is, so just to let everybody know, Christine's talking about some stuff that's available to all of you guys as bars practitioners, because you've all been to bars. Some of what she's talking about is more bars facilitators, but as practitioners, you guys can all host bars, gifting and receiving swaps. Somebody asked, do you charge for that? You can also not, like, it depends. The way I set mine up, it's like, it's $5 or bring food, like, so that I don't have to worry about the snacks, because that's what works for me. But you can get listed on the Access website as a bars practitioner, and then you can post bars gifting and receiving swaps to the public calendar if you have a public profile. So you can be listed as a CFMW, as a bars practitioner. There's a bars practitioner resource site on the practitioner name. Well, it's all practitioners. There's an all practitioner resource site on the Kajabi thing. So we can give you the practitioner resources and the CFMW resources. And then, as you're saying, Christine, if you're also a bars facilitator, then posting your bars classes on the website is, advertising, because we have, what is it, Megan, over 1 million people a month come to the Access website at this point?
Yep. And we are working a lot on making the Access website even mo greater. So just so you know we're turning that up, and there's a lot of media that we send there as well. And yes, with the Global Bars Day coming up, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. I did want to mention too, if you are, there's I don't know how old it is. I find that it's new. Maybe it was like a year ago, where every 2 years you have to take at least something in Access to renew your practitioner status. Is it 2 years, Pam?
Yeah, so it's every 2 years you take something that's that you pay for. And so that could be a 5-day Facebook challenge that you pay for, or an intro, or some other kind of class.
There's a lot of people out there who think that they need to take like an ESB with Dane or another bars class. It can be an intro with you that's like $5, or a book club. It can be any of your intros. So there are a lot of, so what Mirren is saying, what does that mean? Once you take a bars class, you become a bars practitioner. If you don't do anything else with Access, after 2 years, we remove you from our system, from our website, because of all sorts of stuff. So if you'd like to just renew, to let us know, hey, I'm still here. There are a lot of people out there who just would like to still be running bars and doing that. All they have to do is take at least one class of any kind that's paid. It can be $5, $10, $25, but some of your intros can count as that, just so you know.
Yeah. And Megan, I was thinking I'd just show really quickly the CFMW resource site so they can see what it is.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. So basically, this is if you go to onlineaccesscourses.com, accessonlinecourses.com. I got it backwards a little. But this is the section for CFMWs. And so there's some about the resource site. There's information about the clearing statement, how to get your certificate, any upcoming calls for CFMWs that we have. You can find those here. If you scroll down, you can find a bunch of past calls that we've done with CFMWs. There's a whole section on the book intros. Sorry, I meant the wrong thing. Here's the section on the book intros. This is where you'd find the resources, like those mini manuals that go with the intros, that we've created for you. There's a whole thing on what can you facilitate. And then the great thing is, if you are somebody who needs different languages, is there should be somewhere on here, and Betsy, if there's not, we need to add it, but a Google Translate button, so that you can see anything written here in your language. I think we need to do some updates on that site. So things will move around, and I'll make sure the Google Translate button gets there.
And someone was asking before too about the advertising materials. There are like graphics and different things created so that you don't have to. But a lot of people also like to create their own. So just FYI. Okay, Lydia?
Yes, oops, sorry. Can we facilitate intro about entities? It's a question from Russian chat.
So, so like I said, you can do most any topic as long as it's not one of those 5 special ones that only CFs can do. And that, but we do ask that you don't do an intro that, like using the titles of actual established access specialties. So we have a specialty, talk to the entities. So you as a CFMW could do an intro about entities, but you wouldn't call it talk to the entities. You could do a relationship intro, but you wouldn't call it relationships done different. You can do a business intro, but you don't call it Joy of Business. So, you know, now the exception would be if you're doing an intro on the book, Joy of Business, you know, then you might be speaking about that title, but you want to honor the classes that Gary and Dane and Simone create and not do an intro just like titled just like theirs. You can do the topics, but you want to have your unique approach to that topic, your unique title. So I think of it as like 2 branches of the intros you do. One's where you're creating, you have your own idea and you're creating that. And that's where you try not to use the titles that already exist and stuff. And then there's the book-based ones where you're going with the book. And so that you would be using that title. And on that site I just showed you, there's a whole really written out thoroughly guidelines about the book stuff and how that works. And so please read all that stuff before you do the intros. We have a question from Milou.
Hi, Gary. How are you? Thank you for this call. I have 2 questions actually. I have a question about co-facilitate. I'm working now with a BF, trying to present bars, not actually bars, but access consciousness to businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I have designed like workshops with the access tools because I'm a CFMW. So when she is with me, we can co-facilitate the class, even though she doesn't have the license. So I can facilitate the thing that I can, and she can facilitate the thing that she can, or it's not possible.
So for you to co-facilitate with someone, they have to be kind of authorized to facilitate the same thing that, like, you have to both be able to do it. So if you're a CFMW and you can do an intro on any topic, right? Someone who's a BARS facilitator who hasn't done Choice for Possibilities yet, they can't do that. They can do the book intros, so you guys could do that together. But if they have it, it's kind of, once you've gone to Choice for Possibilities, it's like you've had, classes with a lot of clearings, a lot of exposure to the clearing statement. And so to do an intro, we do ask that you have that CFMW status, which just means you've been to Choice for Possibilities, right? And so, part of why we created the manuals or the intros based on books that have the manuals was for someone who's a BARS facilitator who may have only been to 3 BARS classes, period, to have them be able to do some intros like this as well, where there's a little more structure to it of, some different tools and stuff to use. So, but again, that kind of question, you can always write customer service and say, I'm a CFMW, my friend's a BF who hasn't done Choice for Possibilities. We were looking at this. Can we do this together? Okay.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is about the energy pools. I've been seeing many facilitators offering energy pools. Can we do that as
No.
BFs or as CFs with blah, 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 W?
So
Whatever.
certified facilitators, that's the most advanced training, right?
Yeah.
Those are the facilitator type that can do the energy pool series. Okay. Now what
But,
I'd say is
when
do an intro about money. You can introduce the idea of pulling energy in that, but you wouldn't do a money energy pool as a CFMW, right?
Okay, it's like not like an event, an energy pool event,
Mhm.
but yeah, I can do an energy pool in the class, in the intro class.
Right. When you're facilitating your intro, kind of whatever, if someone asks you a question, you can address that question and use the tool, you know, that you also are aware that the class can receive, right? So you always want to be aware of the class and what they can receive. And so, but if someone asks a question, that kind of opens the door. And so you might grab a tool that's from Foundation, you know, but it's up, it's relevant, they're asking. And you're aware, you ask yourself, all you have to do is say, okay, if I introduce this tool, what will that create? Yes, no, you know, heavy, light. But that's different than going into an intro planning to bring in this tool because you think it's so exciting, right? So that's where you want to always be in question as you're creating your intros of, you know, Gary says, pick a catchy title that they'll come and then facilitate what shows up. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, and somebody's asking about languages. So when it comes to those book-based intros, the book has to be in the language you're speaking. And if you have translation, in the languages that you're translating to. So basically you can't do a book intro in a language that the book doesn't exist in, because it's about the book and people being able to get the book and read the book and you know, to go along with your class. Okay. So what is the next class after CFMW? Well, you're a CFMW when you've taken the Choice for Possibilities class. Taking Choice for Possibilities actually opens the door to a lot of different classes. There's, you know, special classes that Gary and Dane or Simone might do that have Choice for Possibilities as a prereq. A lot of times the more advanced classes might have Choice for Possibilities and something else. So for example, there's the Symphony of Possibilities class with Dane, but you also need to have taken the Energetic Synthesis of Being class. So it gets a bit complicated. Megan, do we have any kind of like, here's what's available next after Choice for Possibilities?
Not necessarily. One thing that you definitely get invited to is the Access Consciousness 6-day event. And even that you have to have at least had a 3-day body class. There are a lot of telecalls, which we call them like quickies for your life, that Gary Douglas will do. A lot of Gary and Dane and Simone classes, especially Gary and Dane, really usually have Choice for Possibilities as like the main prerequisite. So there's so much. The other thing is, what I love is that you can actually take another Choice for Possibilities class within the next 12 months at half price as an honoring, as a repeat price. So I always am like, if you can just take one a year, it's so awesome to have that repeat price. And they change all the time. If you didn't know, the manual changes after every Choice for Possibilities. The 3-day body classes are amazing. And there's advanced body classes that you have to have the Choice for Possibilities to attend. There's an entire new world opening up with all of the opening of the symphony classes, which includes the opening of the symphony with Anthony Mattis. Basically, there's a ton of stuff going on, and you should look at choosing all of it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, and there's also a lot of, you know, if there's specific topics that you're interested in, we have all the access specialties, and a lot of those specialty classes that are taught by the specialty facilitators don't have any prereqs. And so you can, from having taken choice for possibilities, you might choose to take something that has choice for possibilities as a prereq, but you also might choose to go to a Being You Changing the World class with Dane, or, you know, a Right Riches for You class with a Right Riches for You facilitator. So it's really what's next for you.
Yes.
There's no defined, this is the next thing that you take.
Yes. Ask your body. I always joke that I didn't take a body class I think I'd been taking access classes for like 4 years, but I thought you only took a body class if you had a problem with your body. And I was like 27. I'm like, I have no problems with my body. But once I took my first 3-day body class, all the tools, I think I'd taken 3 choice for possibilities classes, but I wasn't like I don't know if the word is not integrating, but it was like something different occurred with me being the tools that I was getting and the change that I was getting from all the classes with the body processes. So I highly recommend the body classes. Dane's classes are amazing as well. Everything, but choose what works for you, and everyone does it different. Some people are like, you know, some people will take 10 foundations before they take a choice for possibilities. Some people will, you know, take 45 choice for possibilities and never take a body class. It's like, do what works for you. What is it you require to get you where you desire to go? There's also, like, just so you guys know, you're invited to all of them. So whether or not it's a 6-day and you're like, oh, that's too advanced, that's not our point of view. That's not Access's point of view. If you have the prerequisites, you have the energetic foundation. So please come. If it sounds terrifying, like you're excited and scared all at the same time, definitely choose it. That's my advice, because it's always wonderful when all of your molecules are vibrating. And then if you ever have questions, like, you can reach out to any of us to ask you, like, if you have questions about access, about what's next, about anything. Our customer service group is phenomenal. So please just know that you can ask and we can help guide you, because we do know there's a lot of information and a lot of stuff and a lot of possibilities. So please reach out to us and we will contribute in any way that we can. Thank you guys for joining us. I see a lot of you are jumping off. What was the other thing? Oh, I did want to mention, Gary did a call yesterday. It was called the helping the election of the president. And I think people thought it was like just for the US, or it was phenomenal, especially if you live anywhere that has anyone that's running any sort of government. So probably all of you. And we just put it in the Actions for Future shop. He asked for a $200 donation to the candidate that he was supporting, or any candidate that you're supporting. But now it's just $200. You can download it. It was amazing, like truly amazing. So I woke up this morning with so much more peace and space, and he really addressed all sorts of stuff with, if you're looking at how to change anything going on in the world, with politics, with government, with everything. So Dane also has a program that's started that you guys can join called Monsters of, he's changed the name like 15 times. I think it's now Monsters of Money, Miracles, or Miracles, Money, and Profit. That one's also amazing. It's $500 a month, and you get like 4 calls with him a month, because you get 2 calls for the program and 2 15 billion calls. And then if money is a thing, don't worry, he's got you covered. He's starting there's all this change that's just been change in information that's been coming out. And so he wants everyone to be able to have access to that. So he'll be starting at the end of September. We don't know exactly when yet. 15 days for $15, where he's just gonna be with you, be with all of us to see what we can create and change. So anything else? I know we were about 7 minutes over.
Oh, just one thing before we actually started, somebody had asked a question about affiliate stuff. So can you just quickly say, you know, what the affiliate thing is and how they can get questions answered about affiliate products?
Yes, maybe. There's one main affiliate program through the Access Consciousness shop that is anything, if you have an affiliate link, that you can get up to 20%, sometimes 10% commissions on different products that you refer to people, or if you buy a product through your affiliate link, you get 10% off or 20% off, depending on what it is. And that's through the Access shop. Then there's also, it's now separated from the affiliate program, is the Creative Edge of Consciousness, which is a monthly program with Gary, Dane, and Simone. There's an affiliate program just for that, that's run through Kajabi for Creative Edge. And then Dane actually just launched a new affiliate program for his shop items that you guys might see. Like he has You Got This audios and Dive In with Dane, and anytime he like puts out a new thing that's like 35 bucks or some like low price stuff, there's a new affiliate program for that. The idea is if you share it, your link is tracked and you make money. So how does it get better than that? Especially if you love Access products and you love selling stuff. And then there's another way, which I mentioned, which is the shop, the bookshop. With ACP, you can actually buy books at wholesale and then sell them, which is another really cool way to make revenue if you love Access stuff. That's my short story for it. There is an affiliate Telegram thread, which maybe we can send out in a follow-up email, where all the affiliate stuff feeds into one Telegram thread. So if you have a question about the Creative Edge or about Dane stuff or about the Access shop, all of it is in that Telegram thread. Cool.
So that was my question, and I wanted to specifically ask if there was a link to get to offer the latest foundation with Gary and Dane that was in March. I got a friend that would like to get up to date so that we can continue trading.
That is in the shop, and that is not in the affiliate program, just so you know. That's not
okay.
It goes into the affiliate program after 1 year, so that just because of the core classes, it would, you know, basically.
Actually, Megan, on one of my last affiliate calls, I think they actually removed all the core classes from the program.
Yeah, that would have been a smarter choice to do.
Yeah, I think that's the way it is now. I don't think any of them, regardless of their age, qualify anymore.
Cool,
even
but
Mars Global have been removed.
You can still refer them. You just won't get a commission on it. Yeah,
correct. And they may use the link to go elsewhere. So
that is true. Following you around like a creepy stalker, giving you money when they buy stuff. One last question, and then we will end for today. Stephanie? No question. Okay.
No, it's okay. I just is there a video on that website work like for the affiliate? Because I just put myself in, but I frankly don't understand how it works.
I did forget to mention that you have to be a rocket scientist to understand how to use it. There are videos. It's actually, I'm very blonde, and if I sit down and go in it, there's a way to do it that's easier than it appears, but it does look kind of complicated in the back end. And there are people to help you, and there are videos. So I find if you just find your one link, your affiliate link, and use that, and don't even bother with all the other stuff, that's my idiot guide to the affiliate program. It's just use your one link. They have all sorts of links for all the products, but if you just use your one link, eventually people find what you're looking for. But email affiliates at accessconsciousness.com and they can send you the video. I know that they've done many, or ping me and I will do my best to translate it into
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, wonderful translators.
Thank you guys. Check out, and we'll get together again like in the next few months. And truly what else is possible for you and for everyone. And if you have any questions, if this brought up anything and you're like, email customer service, because we desire to contribute to you if you've got questions that are left unanswered. So yeah. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Betsy.
Bye. Thanks.
Translators.
Bye, everyone.